What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Alatorre. Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as long as you promise to always keep it positive. That is all I ask of you guys. And like it or not, I believe it is officially wedding season. I know I've already attended one, which inspired today's video. I recently did my friend Janelle's makeup for her big day. Some of you guys may not know this. I don't freelance anymore. I just do the occasional good friend's wedding makeup. Janelle caught me at a good time because I was able to give her a trial and commit to her wedding. If I cannot give you a trial, I will not do your wedding makeup because I want you to feel confident that I will do a good job. This is kind of like the look I did on her minus the extra eyeshadow. She wanted something really light. So if you want a lighter option, I will tell you guys when to stop during the eye portion. This is a little more glammed up for my brides that want to be a little more dramatic. I know for me, I would probably do like this more glam look, but lots of helpful information in today's video. I really wanted to cover everything. So this video might be longer than my average makeup tutorial just because I have a ton of great information. Let's get right into it because it's gonna be a long video. So grab a snack, pen, and paper. Let's get into it. All right, for a little prep work, I'm wearing the Pixi DetoxifEYE Depuffing Eye Patches in case the bride decides to cry the night before. Maybe she got a little emotional, a little puffy. It's gonna help to depuff, keep them in the fridge so that they're icy cold. Also, this Nurse Jamie face roller. Really, any face roller should do the trick. Jade roller, rose quartz roller, any kind of roller. Also keep it in the fridge so it's icy cold. And I actually give this to the bride to roll the face while I set up my workstation, and then I just direct them to roll in the direction of the lymphatic system. Essentially center of the face going outward, and then when it comes to the neck, you wanna roll down. Just to help depuff, contour the face. I even roll over the eye patches to further depuff. And then once I'm done setting up, we're ready to get started. We should be less puffy, more awake, and ready for the big day. All right, I'm gonna remove these, and usually whenever you're doing someone's makeup, they already have a little bit of skincare on, and you don't know if it's gonna mix well with the foundation or products you're gonna be using. So I always like to do a quick little wipe down with a toner or a micellar water. This is the cleansing spa water by Kogendo. I'm going to wipe down the entire face with this. This way you know exactly what is going on the skin. I'm also gonna be going in with this Nars Skin Multi-Action Hydrating Toner. This was a favorite of mine when I worked at the boutique. It's called Multi-Action because it also exfoliates and hydrates, so if there's any dry, flaky skin, it'll rub it away. Just work it in circular motions on the skin. And then it's also hydrating, so the key to long-wearing makeup is hydration. Sometimes the reason your skin gets really, really oily, it's because it's overcompensating for how dry it is. So by adding a lot of hydration, I feel like your makeup will look better. Filming these days with Boomer in the background has just become very, very difficult. But keeping the skin hydrated will keep your makeup looking fresher longer. For skin prep, my favorite eye cream to use, I'm actually completely out of it. It's the Nars Skin Total Replenishing Eye Cream. Love that stuff. It's like a balm. I feel like it fills in the fine lines. I'm completely out, so I just like to stick with a very simple eye cream that's hydrating. I'm gonna be using the Tarte Maracuja C Brightener Eye Treatment. And then for moisturizer, same thing, you wanna stick with a hydrating moisturizer. I prefer something that's creamier versus a gel because I find that they mix with more foundations than gel moisturizers do. Another favorite is the Nars Skin Luminous Moisture Cream. This one does come in a gel formula if you prefer a gel. Also, this one is a little bougie, but it does work on all skin types. The Mer Moisturizing Cream, or better known as Creme de la Mer. Boomer apparently agrees. Today I'm gonna use the Nars Skin Moisturizer and this Tarte Eye Cream for a little prep. I have mentioned this product so many times. It is one of my favorite hydrating products because it is affordable and it works. It's the Ordinary Hyaluronic Acid 2% plus B5. And with this serum, I apply it all over, let it settle in, and then I go in with my moisturizer. Because this serum does have a tendency to pill if you don't let it completely get absorbed by your skin. So make sure it is absorbed, then go in with the rest of your product. It is a good idea to prep your lips the entire duration of the makeup application so that way they're not dry when you go to apply the lip. I really love the Bite Beauty Agave lip scrub and lip mask. They go really well together. I actually had a really funny clip of all the bridesmaids and the bride scrubbing their lips with this prior to doing their makeup. You let this sit the entire time you do the makeup so that, again, the lips are nice and hydrated when you go in with the lip. Especially if the bride wants to do matte, you definitely want to make sure the lips are nice and hydrated before you apply that matte lipstick. And we're ready to get in to the actual makeup. Prep work is super important when it comes to long wearing makeup because if you don't prep it right, you can have a total disaster later on. It'll either slide off your face or you'll look too oily, too dry, so make sure you're prepping the skin properly. For foundation, this has to be the best long wearing foundation that I have tried thus far. This is the new Dior Forever Matte Foundation. They recently relaunched it in 2 formulas, glowy and matte, and for whatever reason, I gravitated towards the matte formula, maybe because it came in my shade. I'm currently shades 3WO and 2WO. 2WO is a little too light, 3WO is a little too dark. So I like to mix the two. You guys know I'm complicated, but I wore this foundation in a rainstorm for 16 hours straight. I wasn't in the rain for 16 hours, but I wore it in a rainstorm, then continued to wear the makeup all day long, and this foundation stayed put. It looked bomb. When I witnessed that, I knew immediately this is the foundation I wanted to use on my friend for her big day. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix these two. Actually, when it comes to primer, I'm not a huge fan of primers. I don't really use them, as you guys have probably noticed. I just heavily moisturize, but if I am wanting my foundation to last all day and I do want to prime the skin, I usually use the primer that goes with the foundation or the same brand because I know they will mix well and prolong the wear of the foundation. So I'm going to be using the Dior Backstage Universal Primer, this guy right here. So it's a part of their Backstage collection. It's a really simple primer, pretty universal. It's hydrating, but also semi-mattifying. It smooths the skin, and it works with the Dior foundation. If it didn't, I would have something to say to Dior. I am going to be first applying the foundation with a paddle brush. I find that this gives me the most even, nice application, also a little less messy than fingers. I did use my fingers when applying it to my friend Janelle because it is my friend and not aggressive like how I do it on myself on camera here on my YouTube channel. But finger application, I just find really warms up the product, molds it into the skin, gives you a really nice natural finish. But if you're doing it on someone else like a client and you don't feel comfortable using your fingers, a paddle brush works really great. Pretty similar to using your fingers first where it warms up the product. If you can, use your fingers first and then use whatever tool it is that you prefer to blend it out. But fingers are just, they work, guys. It's the OG way to apply your foundation. And because this is a long wearing foundation, I'm also going to be using it as my eyeshadow primer because it really lasts. For concealer, I'm going to be using a go-to concealer that always works and never fails me, the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Café con Leche. I find that when matching your foundation to your body, the body is usually a little darker because most of us don't tan our faces and we just look a little paler in the face. So for the most part, I like to make sure that my face matches the undertones and the darkest parts of my body, and then I highlight with a concealer that's gonna balance everything out. So if you are going a little darker, you definitely wanna make sure you're highlighting with the right undertone, the right amount of brightness with your concealer so that it all balances out in the end. You don't look too dark in the face in comparison to the body. I'm also going to be using a little concealer brush to apply it just to be a little more precise with my application. This foundation does a really good job at setting itself, so I don't find myself using a ton of powder, just where needed, like areas that crease, laugh lines under the eyes, areas that get oily center of the face. So that's all I'm really going to use the Laura Mercier translucent powder for. It's trusted, it works, she'll never do you dirty, she won't cause flashback, she won't make you look dry as long as you hydrate afterwards. Not too heavy on the powder, just really pressing it in and leaving a little excess powder underneath the eyes. At least for me, that's where I crease up a lot. It doesn't matter what industrial strength concealer I'm using, I will crease. And we're gonna zoom in to do the eyes. Before I go in with any eyeshadow, I'm gonna fill in my brows with the Dior Brow Styler. Obviously, do your brows accordingly, or however, you might need to build a brow from scratch, and then I would suggest doing that first before doing makeup because it's hard to correct once you have powder and have set everything. For me, I just lightly fill in my brows like I normally do, a little bit on top, more product on the ends where my brows are a little sparse, and then we're gonna get into the shadow. Okay, so this has to be the best neutral eyeshadow palette. Yes, it's Natasha Denona, so yes, it is expensive, and yes, it is worth it because you will use this every single day, and every single girl in the bridal party asked if they could borrow it to use it for themselves. I used it on the bride, I used it on myself. I lost a soldier, my black eyeshadow. I dropped this, it fell out, Boomer ate it. Yes, Boomer ate the black eyeshadow. That's my only downside because that black eyeshadow was so pretty. It was like almost like a metallic black. I don't even know how to explain it. It was so gorgeous. But anyway, you will get a lot of use out of this palette. And did another one just fall out? You guys, what is happening to my palette? I'm over here talking it up and it's falling apart on me. Natasha! Aside from that, this palette has been good to me. I don't know why mine is falling apart. It shouldn't fall apart when it's that expensive, but we're gonna go ahead and do the eyes. I do have the foundation already on my eyelids and it barely creased. I mean, you guys, this foundation is so bomb. But I'm gonna go in with this Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in number 2, medium, and a LH 306 brush. And I'm gonna lightly dust my brow bone down to the crease and also out here, so that way the eyeshadow blends out flawlessly and it looks airbrushed and soft and it doesn't skip or look cakey. I find that this powder is the best for this step versus using the Laura Mercier one, because the Laura Mercier one can look a little heavy on the eyes, especially if you have texture on your eyes, and this one is, or it does exactly as it is called, airbrush. It gives your eyes that airbrushed effect. So I go all the way in, brow bone, crease, and out here. I'm gonna go in with Freckle on a Smith 232 brush, and I'm gonna apply this color to the crease. But look at how perfect this color is. It's like the perfect shade of brown. So for Janelle, this is literally all I did, and then I went in with this color up here called Shine on that same brush, and I just sweeped it onto the eyelid just like this. This could honestly be like an everyday look for most people, but again, Janelle wanted to look super natural, but a little done up. I'm gonna pick up some more of that eyeshadow, and this time I'm gonna mist it with Fix Plus just to further intensify the color on the lid. And that is it. But I'm not gonna leave you guys hanging. Let's intensify it, because once I do mascara and everything, I just trying to intensify or do like a day to night look. You guys know, like, I've done that in the past. It always bugs me because I feel like I'm getting so much shadow in my black mascara. So let's just intensify it now. But if you wanted to keep it simple, you would do this, add Freckle to the lower lash line as well, add mascara, inner corner highlight, boom. We're gonna go a little more dramatic, and we're gonna go in with Cocoa, and we're gonna apply this to the outer portion of the crease, outer portion of the eye, to make it a little darker, a little smokier. And I'm using a Smith 230, which is a little smaller than the Smith 232. And then make sure you're blending that dark eyeshadow into the shimmery shadow. And don't be afraid of any fallout, because that powder is catching any fallout, and we're just gonna dust it away in a little bit. And then with a clean Smith 232, I'm gonna really diffuse out these shadows. During Janelle's trial, I wanted her lash line to look smoky to enhance her lashes, and I used a black eyeshadow, and it was a disaster. Her eye shape and the way her lashes fall and the way her, I guess, I don't know, the way she blinks. She does have allergies, so she blinks a little strongly sometimes. The black eyeshadow got everywhere. It was so messy, and I'm so glad that we tried that during the trial, and I was like, okay, we are not doing anything dark along your lash line for your big day. But if you do want to smoke out the lashes, use a pencil instead. I'm going to be using this cake pencil. It's called Mad Max Brown. I think brown just looks a little softer than black, especially like a deep espresso brown. This is just the creamiest, easy to blend eye pencil I currently have. I really love the Marc Jacobs highliners as well as the Nars eyeliners. They are waterproof, they will stay on. I don't know about this one. Like I said, it's the only one I have right now that's not dried out, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Have a little smudge brush on hand. This is a Sigma E20 brush, and as you apply this liner to the lash line, I like to pull this back a little without messing up my eyeshadow. We're gonna run this along the lash line just like that to make the lash line look smoky and really enhance our lashes. I prefer individual lashes, especially these Ardell not free, which means they don't have that little ball at the end, and short black. You can also do medium, long length, but depending on your lashes, if you want them to look natural. Short usually works for most people. I sometimes toss in a few mediums in there as well. And these lashes are just the most comfortable. They look the most natural. They just enhance your natural lashes. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop these on. Comment down below if you want a dedicated video on individual lash application, because that could be a whole separate video. I'm gonna dust away this powder. I'm gonna look really dusty, really dry for a second. But that is okay, because you always want to have Fix Plus on hand. Fix Plus fixes everything. It is a staple. So I'm gonna mist myself now very lightly just to tone down the look of powder, and then go back to finishing the rest of the face, and I'm gonna end with mascara because I wanna wait till the very end, because I'm probably gonna mist myself a few more times and I don't want to risk the mascara getting on my skin. My beautiful skin. While I have you guys up close and personal, I'm going to finish the lower lash line. All I'm really gonna do is apply Freckle all along the lower lash line, and then towards the very outer edge, apply Cocoa to match the shadow that's in the crease. And then with a Smith 247, I'm gonna blend out this lower lash line and this outer edge over here so it looks a lot softer. We're looking good, guys, looking good. All right, tight lining. You want an extreme waterproof eyeliner. I'm gonna use the same, is this waterproof? I don't know if it is. I'm gonna use the same one. I'm not gonna be crying. I'm not getting married today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tight line with this. Dark brown, again, just looks a little more natural, a little softer. Tight lining just fills in that gap between your lashes and the waterline. And again, it makes your lashes look fuller, gives the appearance of a more smoky lash line. It always looks good. Never skip tight lining, even though I tend to do it often. For the inner corner highlight, I'm gonna pop on this shadow right here called Monroe. I'm telling you guys, this palette is just so perfect. So perfect that I only packed this. I was that confident in this palette for Janelle's makeup. I didn't pack anything else, which is very unlike me. I usually go overboard with eyeshadow palettes because I'm like, wait, what if I wanna use this color or this color? And with this one, I was like, you know, I really believe in this palette, and it worked for me and everyone else, minus the shadows falling out of the palette. But look how perfect of an inner corner highlight this is. And whenever I do an inner corner highlight, I always like to drag a little bit into this inner part of the eye as well. And also a little bit right here, just to further brighten up the eyes. That is officially it for these eyes because I want to finish the face, mist one more time, and then go into some industrial waterproof strength mascara. By the way, little tip for you guys, if you feel like the outer edge of your eyeshadow isn't that well blended, pick up the Charlotte Tilbury powder or whatever powder it is that you prefer to use and a blending brush and just buff out this outer edge so it looks a little more blended and a lot softer because mine was looking a little choppy and a little strong, just like that. All right, moving on to bronzer. I'm gonna be using a foundation powder. It further sets my makeup. I just also really like this powder. It's the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude in shade 7. I also sometimes use shade 6.5. I also love the Laura Mercier Baked Bronzer. That one's really good. It's shade number 2. But I'm also gonna contour because this one is a little shimmery. So in the hollows of the cheeks, it can look a little off. So a contouring powder is also, boomer. A contouring powder is also much needed. I'm gonna be using this one from MAC because it's so versatile and it has so many colors in here, which you could also use to set the brow bone down to the crease and blend out the eyeshadow. I forgot about that. This is a great palette, guys. Also great if you're a makeup artist. I love palettes like this. But I'm gonna go ahead and start bronzing with this powder like I normally do, and then I'll show you guys how I'm gonna contour. And this brush is an Hourglass double-ended brush. Don't know the exact name, but I will include it down below. I normally don't include brushes in the description box, but I will this time because I feel like for your wedding, if you're gonna be doing it yourself, tools are also really important. To contour, I love this Sephora brush. It's a Pro Contour number 79 brush. I like the shape of it because it fits right where you need it to in the hollows of your cheeks. I'm gonna be using the color, and I also love that all the names of the powders are on the front of this palette. I really love this middle shade right here, which I believe is Sculpt. Taupe is great too. This one's a little warm for me, but we're gonna go in with Sculpt, and we're gonna just tuck it right here into the hollows to give a very chiseled effect. And I'm doing like a little patting motion. I'm gonna use this Smith 235 and I'm gonna use that same powder and I'm gonna shade the nose. So I usually do the tip right here. Obviously, if you love contouring and want more of a dramatic contour, you can do that with creams. But if you're someone who is afraid of contouring or it's a little intimidating, do a little shading on the sides of your nose. Keep it pretty straight. Make sure it connects up to the brow and then also underneath the lip. To further chisel, I'm gonna take that Laura Mercier powder and I'm gonna cut the cheek. I normally don't do this, only for special occasions. I don't let it sit for too long, just a couple seconds. And then I take that same Hourglass brush and blend it away in an upward motion. And then I'm going to now start switching over to the setting spray versus Fix Plus, because if you start using too much Fix Plus, it can also affect the wear of your makeup. It can get a little too juicy, a little too moist. So I'm gonna switch to All Nighter. And the tool I thought I would never need, the Patrick Ta fan, because it allows you to dry. I mean, you could use whatever you want, but I just love this fan so much. I've gotten kind of obsessed with it. It's really pretty. So I'm gonna spray myself with All Nighter. I do vertical and then horizontal to hit all points, and then fan myself to let it dry. I once read in an article, I don't know where I saw it, that Sir John, Beyonce's makeup artist, likes to layer cream and powder product together to make it long wearing, because you know Beyonce be sweating and she needs it to last. So that is what I do for blush. I layer a cream with a powder. So for the cream, I'm using the Nude Sticks Nudies in the shade In the Nude. It's like a perfect bridal pink, if you will. So what I do with cream blushes is I apply them to the back of my hand, create a little blob, take my sponge, and apply it to the cheeks. Starting with the apples and then blending it back. And I'm very, very softly patting the cheeks. I'm not pressing it in too hard, just enough to add color. The powder blush, I got a lot of compliments on this blush. It's just so pretty. It's the Jouer, and it actually broke in transit from the wedding. Ah! This is the color Rose Gold Blush Duo. I guess there's still blush there, but I'm just that whole chunk broke off. For the powder blush, I don't heavily pack it on because there's already a cream there, but I did mix these two shades together, and I use a really soft domed brush. This is a Luxie 522 tapered highlighter. So I just mix the two, and to ensure that it doesn't go on too strong on top of that cream blush, tap off the excess, pat it to the palm of my hand, and then very lightly sweep it on like this. So in a very light sweeping motion, I'm just tapping it onto the cheeks because I don't want it to go on too strong. One of the blushes in this duo is shimmery, so it gives that really nice highlight on the apples of the cheeks. Powder highlights just haven't been doing it for me, aside from Angel's, the Artist Couture Diamond Luxe Luminizers. Those are my favorite, but everything else has been looking really chalky on me. So I've been gravitating towards cream or liquid highlighters. So I went back to an old favorite, the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal. With this one, I also apply it with the sponge. I think I usually have two on hand because once I've used it, like look at it, there's like not a clean spot on this sponge, but we're gonna pick a clean area to pick up this highlighter. I really blend it into the sponge and then tap it onto the high points of the face, like so. And I'm gonna skip the chin because it can look a little sweaty in photos, but high points. I'm trying a new mirror setup, you guys, so if I keep doing this, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna spray myself one final time with All Nighter. For brow gel, I'm using the Anastasia Brow Gel. Clear, just to hold these brows in place. If you have crazy brows like mine that tend to go everywhere, you definitely wanna lock them down because you don't wanna look at your photos and have one stray brow, and this stuff is like industrial. For mascara, I'm gonna be using one of my favorite formulas in not waterproof, but thankfully they do make it in waterproof, the Mercier Big Mascara by Lancome. Just absolutely love this mascara. And then for the lower lashes, I have a very special trick for you guys. If you have lower lashes that always transfer mascara underneath your eyes, I have a trick that never fails. It always works. So let's apply this mascara first, and then I'll show you guys that trick. If you have made it this far in this tutorial, you are in for a good one because I don't know what I'm trying to say. This trick works. I absolutely love it. I've been using it nonstop. You're gonna need this Sigma Lash Fan E04 brush. Any of these like little tiny fan brushes work for this. And my mascara, my favorite lower lash mascara is the L'Oreal Voluminous Waterproof in Brown Black. Brown Black always on the lower lashes, it looks more natural. And did I say waterproof? Make sure it's waterproof. I'm gonna take this brush and scoop some mascara just on the very ends, like that. And all I'm gonna do is run this mascara along the top of the lashes closest to the root. So there's actually not gonna be any mascara underneath the lashes and also on the tips, which can lead to mascara transferring underneath your eye. Like you get a fuller looking lower lash line with this technique because you're really working the mascara at the roots or the base of the lashes. You're not doing like a brushing motion, you're pressing and wiggling. So here is a before and after. Looks so good, right? Okay, I'm gonna do the other side and then we're gonna finish this tutorial off with the lip. The number one question I get asked from brides, or two questions, is one, what lipstick won't transfer when I kiss my husband? And two, that I won't have to touch up. And the truth is, I don't think that there is the perfect lip out there. The one formula that I recently found that really does work is the Tom Ford, I think it's called like the matte lacquer. I will link it down below. This is more of the pinky shade, but there's like this perfect nude in this formula, and I find that this lip doesn't transfer. It feels like nothing. It's weightless, doesn't look dry or cakey, because you also don't want dry, shriveled, cakey looking lips on your wedding day, right? This I think is the best formula. And I wish I had the nude. But the lip is something I always send the bride off with because she's gonna have to touch up no matter what. Today, I wanna go with a really soft pink. Not so much like a nude. So I'm gonna be using ColourPop Little One lip liner. And then my lipstick color is gonna be Bitch Perfect, How Fitting for Your Wedding Day by Charlotte Tilbury. And that's gonna complete this look. Also, I did have that lip mask on, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe it off. And also wipe off any excess foundation. I don't like putting lipstick on over foundation. I find that it can make it look kind of crusty. And you can also completely fill in your lip with the lip liner. That way, once the lipstick does disappear, you at least have the lip liner underneath to kind of save you. That completes this bridal look. I hope you guys found this informative if you're going to be doing your own makeup on your wedding day, or if you don't know what to ask for your wedding day. I hope that there was a lot of information in here that will kind of guide you in the right direction. Again, don't skip out on your trial, whether it's with yourself or with another makeup artist. A trial is so important, so that way the day of the big day, it goes flawlessly and there's no hiccups, and you can get ready and just kind of enjoy the day, because the last thing you want is to panic because you don't like the way your makeup looks. Put a little extra money into the trial if you are hiring someone else to do your makeup, and if not, practice before the big day so that you feel confident, because confidence is fierceness, and it'll radiate in all of your photos and on the big days. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to give it a like, share it, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys. Mwah.